Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are at the end of January in the January transfer window. And as you can probably guess by the thumbnail, we have had some transfers. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new to our Rebuilding Manchester United series. As I mentioned, transfers have happened. We're going to go through those right now. Now, first up, we have managed to offload some players. The first one being Phil Jones. His contract ended at the end of this season, so we just needed to get rid of him. He's gone over to RB Leipzig for 2.8 million. It's not a lot of money, but it is something. Tahith Chong has gone over to FC Utrecht as well. We haven't got a huge amount of money for him either. It's just 750,000. Victor Lindelof wanted to leave the club. He's gone over to Sevilla. That was a £19.5 million deal for us. Wan-Bissaka's also gone to Sevilla. He's gone for £26.5 million. Eric Bailey was the next one out the door. He's gone over to Atletico Madrid for £28 million as well. Lots of players here ending up in Spain, as we can see. Luke Shaw was another one. He came to us, said he wanted to leave the club. He wasn't happy here. He's gone over to PSG for £30 million, which is quite a decent amount of money really for him. Deshaun Bernard has gone over to some team. I can't actually see what it is. Nashville in the MLS, 450,000 for him. Nathan Bishop out on loan for us. We've also got Kovar. He's gone to Burton for £19,000. Not a huge amount of money, but gets him off of the book. And then this guy here, I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name, but he's left the club as well. You know, some of those not necessarily ones we wanted to lose. We've had some silly ones like Kovar coming up and saying that he wanted to stay here, but he wanted to be considered a star player. But let's be honest, that was never ever gonna happen. We've then got our 3 deals so far that have joined the club. The first one, the man in the thumbnail, is Lewandowski. Now, I recently had him in a Chelsea rebuild. Not a player I got to use per se because it was a simulated rebuild. But for 14.75 million, this man is an absolute steal. Yes, he's 34 years old. He doesn't fit exactly the profile of player we want to be bringing in, but I don't think you can turn him down. Look at his finishing and first touch. It's absolutely extraordinary. He's a model professional as well, so he can help mentor players at the club and bring them through the ranks. And as we can see, 4 appearances, 4 goals so far in the league in all competitions, 6 appearances, 5 goals. Really, really good return already. And for that amount of money, we couldn't really turn him down. Another one we've brought in is Rodrigo from Real Madrid at £36.5 million. We are very much paying for the potential, which has already gone down quite a bit since he's been here, which is a tiny bit concerning. But again, it's a player that's fairly professional. He's quite young. He's going to be very, very good over on that side. He's had a pretty decent sort of time at Manchester so far. 3 appearances, a goal, and a 7 rating in the league is quite good. We've also brought in this player, Kayaki, I suppose his name would be. He's this Brazilian centre-back, classed, I believe, when we purchased him as a wonder kid as well. He cost us 12.5 million. That's not all up front. Some of that was up front. Some of that's in installments from Santos. He's come in this season very much to be the backup sort of centre-back when Varane, Tomori, Upamecano can't play. But he's played 1 game in the league so far and it's been pretty decent. 2 overall for the club. Had a pretty good showing so far. Now, I do think there are some positions we can still improve. If we move this minimum ability over to 3 stars, we can see we've obviously got De Gea. He wants to leave the club, by the way. De Gea is one who's come and said he wants to leave. So we'll see if anything happens with that in the next few days that are left in the transfer window. But we've got no right or left back that are above 3 stars. We also got 3 pretty decent centre backs there. We've then got Ward-Prowse and Tjelsman, who can play as a defensive midfielder. Tonali tends to play there, but he isn't quite yet 3 stars current ability. In midfield, we're looking okay. Tjelsman, Ward-Prowse and Fernandes. Over on the left, we've got Ronaldo. We've got Fernandes can play that. Musiala and Sancho. Over on this side, we've got Sancho, Dybala can play there as well. And up front, obviously, Lewandowski and Dybala. But I don't think this is a fully finish. At the moment, we've got £31 million in the bank. as I mentioned, there are a couple of players unhappy here, namely De Gea, who believes he's achieved everything here and wants to leave. Musiala, we knew this might happen, is a little bit unhappy about the role he's playing. Upamecano wants to start more games. I'm pretty sure we have sorted that out because Varane's only just come back from injury. So Upamecano has had a very decent run in the team. So in terms of results, though, we've played quite a decent amount of games since you were last with me. The last games on the channel were Chelsea and Crystal Palace. We've played through all of these. The only loss coming in there was a 2-1 loss to Liverpool, which we can see over here. We were ahead until Luke Shaw got sent off in the 82nd minute, and then we conceded 2 fairly late goals. Other than that, we've had a pretty decent run. There was a 2-2 draw to Newcastle, but we have won all of these last matches. So we're on a pretty decent unbeaten run at the moment. As well as that, we are into the final of the Carabao Cup, which is against Chelsea. We can see that coming up here at the end of February. That will be over in the next episode. We'll have the Chelsea match and potentially this match as well in Europa League, depending who it is we draw. For now, though, we need to turn our attention to Wolves and the league. We will come back after this and do any other transfers in the January transfer window as well as deadline day, so don't leave as soon as the match has ended. We've then got Donnarumma in goal. We've got Thomas Tomori, Kaiki and Aarons as our back four. McTominay, Ward-Prowse and Tielemans in midfield. Musiala, Sancho and Lewandowski our front three. I'm just having a look. I think Tonali is still injured at the moment. We are suffering a little bit with injuries. Tonali is going to be out for a little bit yet. Upamecano not fully fit. Cristiano Ronaldo isn't fully fit. And Varane not quite fully fit. So we're going to go with this team today. I think it should be absolutely fine to go and do the job against Wolves. We've had to play rotated teams throughout the last couple of weeks when we have had injuries, and we've done absolutely fine. McTominay's actually been really good. He's been playing either as a centre back or in that defensive midfielder position, and each time he's been absolutely fine in there. We can see at the moment we are in 4th place, although that is only on goal difference because Liverpool have overtaken us. Everton are still up there and Manchester City, but at the moment we are in the top 4, which is where we want to be. We're not winning the league this season, not by any stretch of the imagination. A&1, Manchester City would have to utterly collapse for the rest of the season. And B&2, this is a rebuild for a reason, and that reason is we are in the midst of a big period of upheaval for the club, really. Erik ten Hag in real life obviously taking over, us taking over here, and oh, what a goal. Bags and bags of changes in the personnel. One of them being Ward-Prowse, of course, who is now in his the second half of his first season at Manchester United. It was his corner. Sancho holds it up long enough to play it back to him, and it's a first time rocket into the top corner there to put us 1-0 up against Wolves. That is the sort of start we do want. Brilliant goal there from Ward-Prowse. What a signing. Anyone who's looking for a good, especially box-to-box midfielder in FM22, I cannot recommend Ward-Prowse highly enough. He's actually, for a player of his quality, relatively cheap. I mean, we got him for just under £40 million. He'll give you bags and bags of assists from set pieces and just from being really good at passing and finding those balls for the players in front of him. He's got brilliant attributes himself, sort of for free kicks, and he can do stuff like that. I don't know why you'd go and pay more for a player when you can go and grab Ward-Prowse for about £40 million. It seems mad to look elsewhere, if you ask my opinion. Thomas here into Musiala. We're bringing the ball forward into Tielemans. He doesn't manage to get that one past the goalkeeper. It is saved. Max Aarons now. We're back in our own half with the highlights starting with a throw-in for us. Ball play forward there for Ward-Prowse. Not quite high enough to get over the Wolves player. Lewandowski now nodding this one down to Musiala. Can we see a Lewandowski goal? He's been pretty decent for me off camera. Will he be good on camera today? Sancho through on goal here. Sancho going to get our second here against Wolves. Just inside half an hour. Brilliant goal there for him. He's playing really well over on that right hand side as well. He's turning out to be a very good player here for Manchester United. Obviously not necessarily got huge amounts of game time in real life, Question mark. I feel like he could have possibly got a bit more game time, but he's getting plenty in this save and doing well with all of it. Ruben Neves there, still playing for Wolves, is a player I would be interested to bring over to Manchester United if the price was right. I think he's a fantastic player in that defensive midfielder slot. Ruben Neves and Sandro Tonali both rotating in that spot there, I think would be amazing. Beautiful save there as well. It is going to go out for a corner for Wolves, but we are well on top here, I think. We're going to encourage the team as this corner comes in. It is cleared away there for Neto to try and get a second bite of the cherry. Crossed in, it's hit the bar. Very, very lucky there for us. Tomori's going to clear that one out for a throw-in. Just basically hoof it as far away from the goal as humanly possible. That's probably a very, very good idea. As it stands, we are currently second. I've just realised. So Liverpool have played Everton today and beat them 5-0. That game's already played. So if we win this one, we will actually go second. I don't know we'll stay there, but second is a lot better than fourth. It will mean we're chasing Manchester City. Again, I don't think we're likely to catch up with them. But Lewandowski could have something to say about that. Maybe not this season, but in the couple of next seasons, if he's here from the start, which he will be, obviously, we're not going to get rid of him now. I think he'll probably retire here, if anything. Then we stand a decent chance, I feel. I feel like this is what was missing in the first half of the season, was a striker that was converting goals. Ronaldo wasn't really doing it. Dybala's come in. His attributes are fantastic, but he's not really scored a lot. Musiala here, I think that one's going to go to VAR. Dybala's not really scored a lot. We then thought about using Rashford, but he got injured for about 2.5 months. And also, as we saw in the second episode on this channel, he isn't doing great in front of goal when presented with a chance. He's snatching in a bit, he's not getting them on target, or he's just, you know, driving them straight at the goalkeeper, none of which is entirely helpful, if we're honest. So, you know, having Lewandowski, I think, makes a massive difference to the squad. Just because he can do stuff like that, he can win balls for a start, but then he can convert his own chances as well. So he's absolutely brilliant for the team. And despite him being 34, if this summer he was saying he wanted to leave Bayern Munich, he's got his second goal here, which I know was a rumour that was going around. I can't remember if he's actually confirmed it or not, but I know he was talking about leaving. And he said he'd come to Manchester United for £15 million. As a Man United fan, I think, let me know in the comments down below if I'm wrong, but I think you'd be pretty happy with having this man at your club, despite his age. Like I said, you just play him for the next 3 or 4 seasons or so, whilst training up younger players behind him, using him as a bit of a mentor, and in the meantime, he's going to grab you bags of goals. Why wouldn't you want that for your club? So we're just going to freshen things up here a little bit. Max Aarons can come off. Williams, who's come back, he'll record him from his loan. He can come over on the right-hand side there, and then we probably want to make at least one of us change. Let's bring on Rodrigo over on that left-hand side. Take Musiala off. He hasn't scored yet, so he can come off. He's been pretty good. He just looks very, very tired. We've got a couple of tired legs in the centre of the park as well, which we probably now need to think about changing as we come up to that 75th minute. Let's bring on Fernandes, put him there instead of Ward-Prowse. Keep Ward-Prowse as fit as humanly possible for the upcoming matches, because he is becoming basically the first team on the team sheet. Maybe behind Lewandowski now, but globally the first name on the team sheet, I think, at least. Brilliant, brilliant player. And that is going to be a 4-0 win for us against Wolves. It turns out it's quite an easy win, to be honest. That's kind of how we've been performing recently. Just dominating where we can. We had a couple of matches against lower league oppositions. We played Portsmouth and it took us ages to break through there. But since then, we've been doing all right. With that said, though, we've got a few more days left of the transfer window. So I'll go through down to deadline day. I'll let you see any transfer we've done in the meantime. And we'll see if maybe we do a transfer deadline day deal. So, cup of tea in hand, we're here for transfer deadline days. This how football managers do transfer deadline day in Britain? Do we just hold a cup of tea and look at a screen and hope that some players leave and some players come in? I assume it is. There's some stuff just in the last couple of days that has happened. The big one, I think, Cristiano Ronaldo may be leaving the club. He's rumoured to be going to Real Madrid, which would be a bit of an interesting one. The other main one is Dybala, wherever he is. He's not actually showing up on there yet, but he's also saying he's concerned with his playing time, may want to leave. I wouldn't be too mad at losing him. He's played 18 games in the league and only scored 2 goals. We obviously got him on a free. If we can shift him for 60, 70 million pound, I'm more than happy to take that and just reinvest that money back into the club for next season when we should be a bit more ready to challenge for trophies. Donny van de Beek has also said he wants to go out on loan. That could happen. De Gea, as we mentioned, is also wanting to leave the club. So now it's just going to be a case of let's see what happens, I guess. Speculation Batista that De Gea could be leaving Old Trafford. Yeah, I mean, we'd be happy to let him go. Which reminds me, actually, in between these bits, we have had a transfer in. Let me just go to the transfer set. We've got Diogo Costa has come in. He's basically come in to be the backup should De Gea leave. We got him for £26.5 million. All of that not up front again. I think he's perfectly capable as a backup. He's not going to be playing that many games realistically, even if De Gea was to leave, because we've got Donnarumma that is there. He's going to be the #1 goalkeeper, I would think, throughout this entire save, unless something dramatic happens and he decides that he doesn't want to play for us anymore. Then realistically he's going to be here throughout the entire time, I would think. We'll ignore all of these sort of things. I'll deal with them when we're not doing the transfer window. At the moment, not a lot is happening. We keep getting offers for this guy here, for Charlie McNell, but we don't really want to let him go. He's currently apparently a League One standard player. We've got a championship team there, but only as a breakthrough prospects, and that one's only breakthrough prospects, so we're not doing that. Gerardo can go, except he won't, because it's literally impossible for him to go, purely because he can't get a work permit. We were looking at this guy as well. I'd really like to get him, Nianzou, just because he'd be a really good player in there, but he wants extremely mad wages. Luke Thomas leaving the club, that's unlikely to happen, considering I'm using him as our main left back, and our 2 left backs now are Telles and Thomas, so I don't think he'll be leaving. We've got a few players in here that might be decent, but no one that's jumping out at me yet. Joe Higuel, okay, what are you? So you are a League One standard player. Championship, you know, we're not sending players out on loan for no playing time. They can stay at the club and get no playing time with the better facilities, so why would you want to do that? There's an out then, Emeran, he's leaving the club. Gerardo, as we can see, work permit has failed, so he can't physically leave the club, which is a little annoying. We're not selling this player. I hope he's decent at this point, these couple of players that I'm refusing bids for, because otherwise I'm just missing out on money, which would be a little bit annoying. Yeah, we're always looking to improve the squad, blah de blah de blah. We've currently got £22 million we can spend. Now if we have a look, I think we'd probably want potentially a left back. So if we have a look what we've got for left back, let's arrange this by current ability. Alphonso Davies, I'd love to bring him to the club. Way too much money. Josie Gaia, I've used him before. Way too much money. And this is kind of the problem. Lucas Hernandez as well. We could bring in Angelino here from RB Leipzig, but I don't think he's a long-term player I kind of want these sort of players that have got really good potential on them as well. Theo Hernandez there. That's the Hernandez I was thinking of, but again, way too much money. The other position we could do with is a defensive midfielder. Now again, there's some good players in there, but they're all going to cost quite a lot of money. Apart from maybe this guy. How much are you going to cost? Oh, nothing, because your contract's running out. Is that correct? Yeah, so what would you cost transfer-wise? probably not a huge amount. Now, we could bring him in. We'd have another defensive midfielder. That might be an actually pretty good shout, but he's 35 years old. So, again, not someone I want to bring into the club. It could end up being here a pretty quiet deadline day. Declan Rice asking to leave, requesting to leave. £57 million. Again, possibly, but it just seems a little bit easy. Ruben Neves there that I mentioned obviously earlier on, I think would be a really good player to have that, because I think he's really good as a deep line playmaker. We play a defensive midfielder. Again, he does pretty well in that role. The problem is at the moment, unless we have some players leave, it's unlikely that we're going to be able to bring anyone in. We have got some here we'd like to offload. I mean, if we've got this arranged by wage, I wouldn't be mad to see Ronaldo leave. He's actually listed. De Gea, again, we've promised him he can leave. The problem is I can't find anyone to actually take him. We're offering him out for £23 million here. Let's see if we can get someone to bite. Dybala, exactly the same thing. Let's just drop that a little bit, because that's probably a little bit mad. Let's go 63 million. We don't want to pay any wage contribution. We'll see if that makes any teams bite. Martial, another one, 8.25 million. I mean, that's not a lot of money for him, but it would get his wages off the club, because his wages are so insane. That player's going out on loan. You've made it a loan offer, but again, it's a breakthrough prospect, and then 325,000 mandatory future fee. I'm just not doing that. That seems absolutely nuts. Again, no offers for any of these players. So it looks like they're going to be staying here for the rest of the season. Still have room in your squad? Yeah, it'd be nice if we could bring in some players. Fortunately, we don't really have the money to do so. And the players that we do have that we don't really want here, none of them seem to be leaving. Theo Hernandez, previously mentioned, we'd happily get rid of him. You know, Hakim, yeah, we'd take him, absolutely. He's a really decent right back, no problem. I don't have £173 million to pay for him now, and because we don't have that money, it kind of makes all of this a little bit obsolete. I don't want to do more press conference stuff, leave me alone. So many press conference things. Joe Higuain again, mandatory future fee, no. Mandatory future fee, no. Martial, okay, so we've got some loan. Proposed playing time. So they'd have to pay us 8.25 after 10 matches. So we're going to be paying pretty much all of his wages though. But it would mean that hopefully he'll get offloaded in the next 6 months or so, and we'll just receive a bit of money for him. And then his wages will be completely gone. He's going to go, where's he going to go then? So Inter Milan. So he's going to Inter Milan. Receive no money now, but long term, yeah, fine. Rudiger again. £119 million for Rudiger. That's what we're thinking from Real Madrid. Skriniar, 113 million. Absolute madness. What's next for De Gea? Be professional, and you know you're gonna have to stay here because no clubs will actually do a bid for you, so you're gonna have to just stay here. There's not a lot we can do about that. No one wants to pay any money for you. Martial there, officially confirmed as gone. McNeil again, we don't want to sell you. I think we can develop him a little bit more before we need to do that. Maxi Gomez gone to Liverpool because they need another striker. They've already got Darwin Núñez. Let's just add Maxi Gomez to that as well. Obviously was in our Hertha Berlin side for a season, I think it was. And he did pretty decent over there. Núñez here, I had a look at him as well. It looks like he's going over to Juventus. He'd been a good addition, but I think the ones we brought in, Ward-Prowse, was a lot better than Núñez, and we had the option of getting one or the other. So it looks like this is going to be a pretty quiet deadline day. And the transfer window is now closed. Now, we've obviously brought in Lewandowski, Rodrigo, Costa, Bailey's gone out, Wan-Bissaka, and Luke Shaw. We're going to have to deal with the team we've got for the rest of the season, and I think that will be fine. It just means this 22 million, I'll see if I can spend it on maybe some young up and coming players rather than players that are ready for the first team, and then we'll spend whatever transfer budget we get next season on first team players. We're saying we're guaranteed 61 million. I'd imagine that's about what we'd get, about 61 million. I don't think we get a lot more than that because of the wages and the transfer fees we've spent this season. But hopefully we can get that 61 million and then reinvest that in 2 or 3 decent players. Looking ahead then, we have got a FA Cup 4th round coming up against Blackpool. I don't think that one's especially important. I'd expect us to win that. So I think the next one is the Carabao Cup against Chelsea. And then whoever we draw in the Europa League will be the 2 matches in the next episode. If you have enjoyed today's episode, of course, though, please do drop a like down below. It'd be very, very much appreciated. I was second. I thought that was first for a minute. And if you haven't already, then please do hit the subscribe button and join the channel. Obviously, it's completely free. If you hit the notification bell, YouTube will let you know whenever we upload this series. We are currently uploading this 4 times a week on a Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The upload schedule is down in the description if you want to have a look at exact times this series comes out. If there's a lot of demand for it, we can get this maybe up to 5 times a week, maybe up to daily. It very much depends on how the viewership does. So drop a like down below to let me know you are enjoying this. And until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching today. Check out the video that's on the screen now, and I'll see you back on the next episode where potentially we could win our first trophy as Manchester United manager. Bye-bye.